Go 6 on the light. Rebel for motherfucking life. Yo, reppin' the white trash family. Ain't no authority, ain't no fuckery. Ain't nothing but real shit, tune in and see. We pursuing loyalty and respect, that's all we demand. We don't take no shit from any entitled hand. Flying high, red, white and blue. We free bird in the sky. Rebel for motherfucking life. No rules, no bounds, we don't ask why. White trash pride, we won't fucking apologise. We got rebel in our hearts, we won't fucking compromise. No bullshit, the realest you'll ever meet. We don't back down or mislead. You leave you standing on your feet, because we don't look down on anyone unless you bite under our feet. We the people who stand tall in the face of defeat, never missing a beat. We ain't got much, but we got hearts and soul. Our word is our weapon, and that's all we're fucking told. Unless you fuck around and find out the hard way. Hey yo, what the fuck is trash day? Heritage is not hate, we don't need no fancy things. We just need no fake tapping ass government stealing from you and me, destroying literally everything. Our loyalty's our strength, our respect is motherfucking unique. Every free bird jump out your fucking seat and sing this shit with me. You can call us outcasts, misfits and thugs, but we won't change for you. We'll stay true as fuck. We ride or die for our own. What the fuck is it to you? White trash family till the day we die. That's just the way it is, don't ask why. So raise your flags high, let the anthems play. We'll ride freebird style all motherfucking day. Rebel for life, that's our fucking way. White trash family, we here to fucking stay. Ain't no shame in our game, y'all let a like and subscribe. Tattooed Rebels channel, Ghost X spitting at you from the other side.
What's up, guys? It's good to see y'all today. I just got done watching that, so I figured I'd come in here and share it with y'all if y'all didn't get to see it. But let me do my Star Spangled Banner, because you know I love my veterans. So we'll do that, and then I'll come in and say hello to everybody. Here we go. All right, thank you guys for that. Let's come in and say hello to everybody. We got Sasquatch, you mother effer. We got E-Rock. What's up, E-Rock? And Hawkeye. How are you guys doing today? Y'all do me a favor and hit that like, share, and subscribe. And then we're going to get started on all this. We're going to get started on this. First thing I want to show you, man. Okay, everybody knows how tall Trump is, right? Yeah. Can y'all put in chat how tall you think Trump is? Or if you know how tall he is, put it in there. If you know how tall President Trump is, please put it in there. Just take a guess. Trying to get this set up to where She needs to be fired. Y'all put a guess at how tall Trump is. 6'2", 6'2", 6'3". Pretty close. Pretty close. That's what I was thinking. About 6'2", 6'3". Let me show you something. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying that it's anything to do with that, but and I don't have the sound turned up on it because it's got music, so I don't want to do that. Okay, see these? There. Just watch. Just watch. This one right here didn't even know, this lady right here didn't even know how to put a gun in a holster. Didn't even know how to holster her sidearm. Look how they look like actors, guys, to me. Watch them. Watch them again. Just for the hell of it. This little one here, she just runs out of scene right here. Watch her. She goes out and then that way. Where am I supposed to go? Okay, this way. Those are actors, Chicken Snake, in my opinion. There was another one. If I can just find it. I probably won't be able to find it now. And that sucks. Okay, let me see if it's over here. Let me see if this is it. Okay.
Take a look what happened.
You won't be able to see it too good, guys.
Something to say. Take a look what happened. What happened? Take a look what happened.
All right, this one here, you're going to see where they say that there's one shooter or two shooters. I'm not saying there wasn't two shooters, but this video right here, does not reflect that, in my opinion. All right. They're looking at that Jumbotron right there, right? Watch this guy right here, and watch this metal grate right here. Well, let me do it like this. Let me go back. Now, watch the metal grate right behind this guy. You're not going to be able to hear.
Take a look Take a look what happened. What happened? Take a look what happened.
Okay? Let me go past that guy. See, there's the metal grate. So this guy and this part goes over here, and this is where that other one was at, in my opinion. In my opinion. So they're trying to say that there was a shooter right here, shooting here, and there was a shooter over here. No. In my opinion. No, I don't think it was staged. I think it was an inside job. But when the fire come from, I can't remember that guy's name, whatever his name was, and it went through here, it popped this guy and went completely over here now. Just my opinion. Now watch.
Take a look what happened. Something that said, take a look what happened. What happened? Take a look what happened.
Thomas, yeah.
Something that said.
I'm saying that's just my opinion on that part. I think that guy, that was the same bullet. All right, now what we're going to watch is Kim Cheatle in front of the Congress and answering questions like she's supposed to. Yeah, right. Now I have to put up my little thing here, so let me put that up right quick, guys. Wrong one, sorry. All right, guys, give me just a second. Man. I got to try and get this done, guys. Oh well, guys. Hey, Smoky Mountain Mermaid. I'm trying to get my man. Oh man. Well, I'll just bring it up, and if they flag me, they flag me. All right, we'll watch this, and we'll listen to a little bit of it, and I'll skip some parts, guys. All right. So here we go. Let's listen. Barbie is all I believe exactly that's what they was trying to do, but they was all, and I don't know, man. There's a lot of shit that had to go through, and you're not gonna hear nothing right now. So let's try and ease it up a little bit.
Well as state and local police.
Can y'all hear
We'll
that?
ask hard questions of Director Cheatle today in order to identify and understand the shocking security failures that occurred and to help transform the operations of the Secret Service to prevent anything like this from happening again. But we can't let ourselves off the
Put a
hook
one in chat if y'all.
either, dear colleagues. What happened in Butler, Pennsylvania was a double failure. The failure by the Secret Service to properly protect former President Trump and the failure of Congress
They do
to
mention that in
properly
here
protect
about
our
Mexico,
people from
especially
criminal
this
gun
gentleman
violence.
right here.
We must therefore also ask hard questions about whether our laws are making it too easy for potential assassins to obtain firearms generally and the AR-15 specifically. Mr. Comparatore, former President Trump, and the other rally attendees wounded in Butler are now members of a club no one wants to belong to, the thousands of people who have fallen victim to mass shootings. Last year, we had 655 mass shootings in America, defined as 4 or more people being shot or killed in a single event, not including the shooter. 712 people died and nearly 2,700 people were wounded in these attacks in 2023. Mass shootings are commonplace. They happen at political rallies and constituent meetings, in our elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, in churches, synagogues, and mosques, in movie theaters and parades, in nightclubs and grocery stores, in concerts, and on street corners. Here are the worst mass shootings in the last 11 or 12 years. The list is a grim reminder of the horrific damage and death wrought by assault weapons and the AR-15 in particular.
Service. Prior to her appointment, Director Cheatle was Senior Director of Global Security at PepsiCo. Before her role at Pepsi, she served 27 years in the Secret Service. Pursuant to Committee Rule 9G, the witness will please stand and raise her right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show that the witness answered in the affirmative. Thank you. We certainly appreciate you being here today and look forward to your testimony. We're We normally limit testimony.
If y'all
to,
can hear the
opening
video,
statement to
E-Rock.
5 minutes, but take all the time that you need. Obviously, the rules that we will abide by. When you're finished with your statement, we will then turn to questions. Each member will have 5 minutes. And just a note to the members, I'm going to strictly adhere to the 5 minutes. Once 5 minutes is up, I will hit the gavel. If the director is in the process of answering a question, we'll certainly let her finish her answers, and then we will move on. We're going to have about 100% attendance here today, plus a few additional add-ons. So this will be a very lengthy hearing, and we want to make sure every member gets their 5 minutes uninterrupted to be able to ask these important questions in this very bipartisan hearing today. I now recognize Director Cheatle for your opening statement.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Comer, Ranking Member Raskin, and distinguished members of the committee. My name is Kimberly Cheatle, and I am the Director of the United States Secret Service. I appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today. The assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July 13th is the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades, and I am keeping him and his family in my thoughts. I would like to offer my sincerest condolences to the family of Corey Comparator, a former fire chief and a hero who was killed in this senseless shooting. I would also like to acknowledge those who were injured in Butler, David Dutch and James Copenhagen, and I wish them a speedy recovery. I would be remiss if I did not also extend my condolences on the passing of your colleague, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Ms. Jackson Lee was always engaged in the oversight of the Secret Service, and her passing is a great loss to this body. The Secret Service's solemn mission is to protect our nation's leaders. On July 13th, we failed. As a director of the United States Secret Service, I take full responsibility for any security lapse of our agency. We are fully cooperating with ongoing investigations. We must learn what happened, and I will move heaven and earth to ensure that an incident like July 13th does not happen again. Let me state unequivocally, nothing I have said should be interpreted to place blame for this failure on our federal, state, or local law enforcement partners who supported the Secret Service in Butler. We could not do our job without them. We rely on the relationships built over years of working together to secure events and conduct investigations. Our agents, officers, and support personnel understand that every day we are expected to sacrifice our lives to execute a no-fail mission.
To some degree, Smoky Mountain Mermaid, but there's some badass women out there that could have done this job a whole lot better. So there could have been some women out there that done this job and done it right. But the ones that they picked for this job, nah, not in my opinion, no. And to be honest, they look like actors in that video I showed you. If you can't holster a gun, you don't need to be on the job.
As witnessed on July 13th, our special agents shielded former President Trump with their own bodies on stage while shots were being fired. Selflessly willing to make the ultimate sacrifice without hesitation, I am proud beyond words of the actions taken by the former president's detail, the counter sniper.
The ones that come up on stage were men. The ones that were on the ground were the women. I don't think I may be wrong about that. But I don't think I seen a woman go up on stage. I do remember them down on the ground getting into the car.
Team who neutralized the gunman and the tactical team who was prepared to act. I will be transparent as possible when I speak with you, understanding, though, at times that I may be limited in providing a thorough response in this open setting due to associated risks with sharing highly sensitive protective methodologies. I do not want to inadvertently provide you today with inaccurate information. Since January 1st, 2024, the Secret Service has successfully secured over 7,500 sites.
Okay,
every
there was
protective
one on
advance
stage.
comes with its
I
own
don't
set
remember.
of challenges
So
and requires a
fault.
customized mitigation strategy, including specific assets. Security plans are multi-layered, providing 360 degrees of protection. These layers include personnel, technical, and tactical assets, which are a force multiplier for our protective posture. During every advance, we attempt to strike a balance between enabling the protectee to be visible and our protective requirements to be secure. I know this because I have spent 29 years in
Okay.
this agency. I came up through
Then
the
I-
ranks. I've secured events for every
apologize for
president since
saying that.
President Clinton, supervised on Vice President Cheney's detail, led our training center, oversaw all
I
of the
apologize for what
investigations
I
and
said
protective
because, like I
visits in
said,
the
I
state
couldn't
of
remember.
Georgia,
So my fault, guys.
supervised on Vice President Biden's detail, and the agency's entire protective mission during the Trump administration. The comprehensive advance process involves collaborative planning between our Secret Service, the protectees staff, local law enforcement partners, and the level of security provided for the former president increased well before the campaign and has been steadily increasing as threats evolve. The security plan included a full assessment of the Butler Farm showgrounds to identify security vulnerabilities and craft a security plan for the protectee, attendees, and the public. Immediately following the assassination attempt, I directed the activation of my crisis center. I assembled my executive team to begin surging more protective resources to the former president and to ensure the wellness of our people post-incident, all while securing an active crime scene. I immediately ordered a reevaluation of the Republican National Convention security plan, and I increased the security posture in the National Capital Region for all permanent protectees and sites. At the same time, I initiated a mission assurance investigation within our agency. I have instructed my team that all necessary resources will be dedicated to investigating these matters. We will not rest until we have explored every option, and we will leave no stone unturned. But I want to be clear, I am not waiting for these investigations to be completed prior to making changes.
You're
Over
right.
the
There was
past
the
2
one
weeks,
with
we
the,
successfully led the planning and execution of the 75th
the
NATO
one with the
Summit
bun on
and
the
the
back of
Republican
their head.
National
He was in
Convention.
front of him.
Over the next few months, we will
You're right,
implement
guys. I'm
security
sorry.
plans for the Democratic National Convention, the United Nations General Assembly, and have already begun planning and coordinating the 2025 inauguration. It is now more important than ever for the men and women of the Secret Service to remain resilient and to focus on what is necessary to carry out our critical mission. Our agency needs to be adequately resourced in order to serve our current mission requirements and anticipate future requirements. The Secret Service currently protects 36 individuals on a daily basis, as well as world leaders who visit the United States, like Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who arrived in Washington, D.C. today. The coming years will bring an unprecedented heavy protection tempo. I have no doubt that the processes that I have implemented during my tenure as director, in addition to my nearly 30 years of experience in this agency, have positioned the Secret Service to be stronger. Our mission is not political. It is literally a matter of life and death, and the tragic events on July 13th remind us of that. I have full confidence in the men and women of the Secret Service. They are worthy of our support in executing our protective mission. I will now answer any questions that the committee may have.
Thank you very much, Director Cheatle. We'll now begin
She
our
said
our
she's
5
gonna
minutes
answer questions. She don't
questions,
answer
and
a
I will
fucking thing.
begin. Just for the record, the Secret Service has an annual budget of around $3.1 billion, and I believe around 8,000 employees. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, there were many security failures on the day of the attempted assassination and leading up to that day. Let's start with the building that the shooter used to shoot President Trump from. At any point Saturday, did the Secret Service have an agent on top of that roof?
Sir, I'm sure, as you can imagine, that we are just 9 days out from this incident, and there's still an ongoing investigation. And so I want to make sure that any information that we are providing to you is
You
factual.
can't, okay. Why did the Secret Service not, can you answer why the Secret Service didn't place a single agent on the roof?
We are still looking into the advanced process and the decisions that were made.
Well, okay. Wasn't that building within the perimeter that should be secured? Do we agree with that?
The building was outside of the perimeter on the day of the visit. But again, that is one of the things that during the investigation, we want to take a look at and determine whether or not other decisions should have been made.
One of the things that you said, I believe in an interview that there wasn't an agent on the roof because it was a sloped roof. Is that normal? And do you fear that that immediately creates an opportunity for future would-be assassins to look for a slanted roof? I mean, this is a huge question that every American has. Why wasn't a Secret Service agent on the roof? And there have been reports that agents were supposed to be on the roof, but it was hot that day and they didn't want to be on the roof. Can you answer any of those questions, Director?
So I appreciate you asking me that question, Chairman. I should have been more clear in my answer when I spoke about where we place personnel in that interview. What I can tell you is that there was a plan in place to provide overwatch, and we are still looking into responsibilities and who was going to provide overwatch. But the Secret Service in general, not speaking specifically to this incident, when we are providing overwatch, whether that be through counter snipers or other technology, prefer to have sterile rooftops.
Did the Secret Service use any drones for surveillance that day?
So again, I'm not going to get into specifics of that day in itself, but there are times during a security plan that the Secret Service does deploy an asset like a drone.
There were reports.
Okay, why is she not answering questions? That's what she's there to do. She's there to answer Congress's questions. Why are you not answering them? How long did you have to study for this? How long did you have to prepare for this? Oh, we agree with you, Smoky Mountain. Everybody's got opinions over here, and that's fine. I love opinions. I love opinions. Still not right, but at least she took the responsibility for what she did wrong. But with Night Demon, watch what she does throughout here. I'm going to let her answer this question or listen to this for a second, and then I'm going to scoot on over to another part.
That the shooter used a drone just a few hours before the rally start time. Is that accurate?
I have heard those same reports, and again, am waiting for the final report.
Do you know, if you can't answer the question, that's your answer. But can you answer this? Do you know? I'm not asking yes or no, but do you know if the shooter used a drone before the shooting?
That information has been passed to us from the FBI.
How many
yes.
Secret Service agents were assigned to President Trump on the day of the rally?
Again, I'm not going to get into the specifics of the numbers of personnel that we had there, but we feel that there was a sufficient number of agents assigned.
There are reports that several agents assigned to the rally on July 13th were temporary agents not normally assigned to President Trump. Is that accurate?
What I can tell you is that the agents that were assigned to former President Trump are Secret Service agents
you
that
already
provide close protection to him, and that was what was actual on that day.
How many temporary agents were there that day?
Quite frequently, sir, during campaign events, the Secret Service utilizes agents from HSI or the Department of Homeland Security.
You don't know
to
how
help
many?
supplement
answer?
our plan.
Have the investigators reconstructed the shooter's precise movements over the past days, weeks, and months?
So again,
We need to have confidence that if the FBI is leading this investigation, that they're leading a credible investigation, because there's some of us sitting up here today that don't have a lot of confidence in the FBI. So I will repeat the question. Have the investigators reconstructed the shooter's precise moments over the past days, weeks, and months?
I understand your question, Chairman, and I share your concerns about wanting to make sure that we have factual information. The FBI is conducting a criminal investigation. The Secret Service is conducting an internal investigation. There are a number of OIG investigations, and there is the external investigation.
Okay.
I hate when they do that. Internal investigation. When they do an internal investigation, that means that they're covering up their asses. When you do an internal investigation, guess who's the one that does the investigating internally? The head person. That lady sitting right there.
The president.
Last question for me. Before July 13th, had the Trump detail requested additional resources?
What I can tell you is that for the event on July 13th, the details that were the assets that were requested for that day were given.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, let me go down through here so far, because like I said, some of them I'm gonna have to go a little piece down through here. I don't think it's good through that part right there, so let's watch this guy right here. We'll start right here.
Suspicious or threatening if an individual is seen around the perimeter with a rangefinder. Is that just suspicious?
That could be termed as suspicious.
If that same individual with the rangefinder is found on a rooftop, is that still just suspicious, or is that considered threatening?
That could be termed still as suspicious.
All right, my time is over. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you. Chair now recognizes Mr. Frost from Florida.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And obviously, I want to start by stressing that political violence is always unacceptable, and acknowledging that this is still an ongoing investigation. But oversight hearings like this are essential components of an investigation, and I want to thank the chair for pulling this together.
But how do you
Madam
do a
Director,
third
I
party
appreciate
if
you for
it's
being here. The
internal?
events of July 13th
Chicken steak.
raise serious
Internal
questions
means that
about the
they
efficacy and
investigate
thoroughness of the
inside.
security protocols
From
in
inside
place. The
the place.
gravity of the fact that an unsophisticated gunman was able to secure his perch and take a shot at a former president, despite multiple layers of security and intelligence, are not lost on me. Before I came to Congress, I used to work advance for a major political candidate and have interacted with many different law enforcement agencies on large political events like the one that just happened. How many times was the Secret Service alerted about a suspicious person at the July 13th campaign event prior to the first shot being shot?
I don't have an exact number to share with you today, but from what I've been able to discern, somewhere between 2 and 5 times there was some sort of communication about a suspicious individual.
To the Secret Service specifically.
Mhm.
According to reports, the shooter was photographed twice by security officers prior to the shooting. A police officer saw the shooter on the ground and reported him with a photograph as a suspicious person. Multiple local law enforcement officers identified the shooter, radioed that he was acting suspiciously near the event's magnetometers. A local law enforcement tactical team saw the shooter on a roof and notified other security services and also photographed him. One police officer who photographed the shooter saw him scoping out the roof and carrying a rangefinder. My question is, and you've answered this, but why, or you haven't answered this, why wasn't the event paused right then?
Again, I'm not clear on the timeline of when the Secret Service shift and the counter sniper were notified.
But
of an
earlier,
individual
Madam
on the
Director,
roof.
earlier you said that the Secret Service would have paused the rally if they identified a threat.
Correct.
So why wasn't it paused?
Because I have to assume that they did not know that there was a threat when they brought the president out on the stage.
I feel like this
you
is a
serious?
breakdown in communication
Listen to
between
this.
local law enforcement.
Listen to this guy right here. Let me go back. Now listen very closely what he says right here. Listen very, very closely what he says after she answers this question.
You've answered this, but why, or you haven't answered this, why wasn't the event paused right then?
Again, I'm not clear on the timeline of when the Secret Service shift and the counter sniper were notified.
But
of an
earlier,
individual
Madam
on the
Director,
roof.
earlier you said that the Secret Service would have paused the rally if they identified a threat.
Correct.
So why wasn't it paused?
Because I have to assume that they did not know that there was a threat when they brought the president out on the stage.
Right here, listen.
I feel like this is a breakdown in communication between local law enforcement, you all, and other actors at the rally. And again, so why wasn't it?
What did he just say? Listen again. You, law enforcement, and other.
Paused.
Because I have to assume that they did not know that there was a threat when they brought the president out on the stage.
I feel like this is a breakdown in communication between local law enforcement, you all, and other actors at the rally.
Did he just say other actors at the rally?
But earlier,
individual
Madam
on the
Director,
roof.
earlier you
Right
said that
here.
the Secret Service would have paused the rally if they identified a threat.
Correct.
So why wasn't it paused?
because I have to assume that they did not know that there was a threat when they brought the president out on the stage.
I feel like this is
Tell me why he says what he says right here then.
a breakdown in communication between local law enforcement, you all, and other actors at the rally. And again, as someone who's worked on these, I understand that there's multiple people with multiple decision, with the ability to make different decisions on the ground. I've taken over the last week, I've spoken with a lot of folks in local law enforcement in my district and across the country that I've worked with before, and other people have brought up concerns around being able to communicate with law enforcement or with Secret Service during these big events and having their flags taken seriously. I do believe that if Secret Service believed that there was a legitimate threat, that they would have paused the rally. My concern is before that something was flagged and it wasn't taken as seriously as it should have been taken. So I think this shows an issue with communication. And I want to know, Madam Director, what you intend to do to fix that, not in 60 days, but now. We're in the middle of a presidential election. Obviously, a former president who had an assassination attempt, another rally goer who was killed due to this gun violence. We now have a presumptive nominee of the Democratic Party who's also historic, first Black woman to be running for president. And so I am worried about everybody's life. What do y'all intend to do to fix this communication breakdown and making sure that you actually take what local law enforcement, local folks are saying more seriously?
We take what local law enforcement relays to us seriously. Let me just be clear on that. As far as the communication.
But not this time.
We always trust our law enforcement partners and have a great relationship with them. We are looking at whether or not there was a communication breakdown. If that was the case, we will take steps to ensure that we correct that, because to your point, we cannot have a communication breakdown.
Madam Director, does you mentioned that the perimeter of the event did not include the rooftop where the shooter was. Does your responsibility and the Secret Service's responsibility to protect a principal stop at the perimeter of an event?
Our responsibility is to ensure the safety and security of the event itself and the protectee who is attending that event and the personnel who are protecting.
So you would say the fact that the rooftop was outside the perimeter is not an excuse for what happened, saying that it was outside the perimeter of the event?
I am not offering that as an excuse.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes Mr. Fallon from Texas.
How did a 20-year-old loner with a week's notice pick the absolute best location to assassinate President Trump when the entire Secret Service missed it? Director Cheatle, in your leadership, your agency got outsmarted and outmaneuvered by a 20-year-old. How can we have any confidence that you could stop trained professionals from a nefarious nation state?
Ooh.
Those are absolutely questions that we need to have.
I know they're
answers
questions,
to.
but the fact of the matter is we can't have that confidence.
So,
Director, do you have the ability personally, and do you have the authority to beef up
You don't know what
security of any of your protectees?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So were you also aware there was a credible threat President Trump was facing? He was facing a heightened security threat to a foreign adversary?
Yes.
Okay. So given that there was an increased threat to President Trump's life, was he provided a full security complement akin to what a sitting U.S. president would receive?
He was provided a full complement of security based on the threat assessment that we had
That's not my
and
question.
the venue.
My question is, if he'd been the sitting president, would he have had the same security he had on July 13th, or would have been beefed up?
There is a difference between the
So
sitting
he didn't. So
president
your answer is he didn't.
and continuity of government
Okay.
and the
So
responsibility
he
that we
did
have.
not. Okay, there wasn't a CAT team, full CAT team on site. There wasn't counter surveillance teams on site. But this is the thing. You just said you had the ability to beef up the security. You knew about the threat, and you didn't. And that's as telling as it is chilling. We have satellite images from the Butler Fairgrounds. Have you visited the site?
No, I have not.
9 days and you have not visited the site.
yeah, why hasn't she visited the site in 9 days? Why wasn't she there to begin with? Look, guys, and this is just from my personal opinion. Look, if I'm over something as high as the president, I don't care who it is. If it was Mr. Biden or Mr. Trump, if he has a rally, Mr. Biden, and it's my job to protect him, I'm going to be there. If I'm the head of that division, the Secret Service, if Mr. Trump has one, I'm going to be there to make sure everything is done right. See, people get this, they get the main job to sit in the office and tell everybody else what to do. Look, if you're going to tell everybody else what to do, if I'm going to stick somebody else's life on the line, then I'm going to go out there with them. It's ridiculous that nobody like this lady would send somebody out there knowing that you wouldn't go out there to put your life on the line. Lead by example. You go do it too. She may have done it in the past, but now that she's got the cushy job where she can sit in office and delegate where people need to go, something as high as the president should be the ones there. Just my opinion, guys. People may get mad. That's just my opinion.
You should have been there that night. Did you talk to, that evening, did you talk to the team, the heroes that surrounded the president? Did you call them that night?
They were still operational work.
So that's an answer is no. Did you call them the next day?
President. Yes, I spoke with
You
them.
called them the very next day, not the day of, or was it 72 hours after?
I don't know
No,
the timeline, but
okay.
I spoke with
Okay,
them
because you're under oath.
immediately
I
following.
think it was 72 hours after you waited 3 days. What is immediately clear is that there are a number of structures that need to be secured. Of these, Director, other than the first, immediate 4, what's the most dangerous site that should have been secured? Because security 101, you got to mitigate the high ground.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what the next most dangerous site, what was the closest structure to the president, other than the 4 immediate ones that you had your counter sniper teams on?
The water.
There are a number of structures around that event site.
You know who the shooter knew? The shooter has visited the site 2 more times than you have, and he had a drone, and he picked the AGR building. So you said, do you remember in an ABC interview you did that you didn't have people on the roof of the AGR building because you were worried about safety because of the slope?
I recall that statement.
Okay. Does the Secret Service have written policy you can share with us about slope roofs?
No.
Okay. So why'd you act like there was one? Because is it your practice to comment on enormous events of enormous national implications when you're ignorant of the facts? That's rhetorical. So here's this thing with the slopes. You go all up to like 1812. You can go to a 112, which is about as flat as you can get without it being completely flat. And you're saying that there was a danger, safety concern there. But the problem is, Director, you put your counter snipers on a 312 roof, which is steeper than the 112. And by the way, the 112 is ADA compliant. You can build a ramp for a wheelchair on a 112 roof. So these are nothing.
He is not lying, because we built one for my brother when he was in the wheelchair before he passed. As a matter of fact, his was a little higher than 112.
But pathetic excuses, and they make no sense, and they're a bunch of cow dung. All the law enforcement I've spoken with over the last 9 days are amazed that the AGR rooftop was not secure. And you want to know why? Because it's dangerous. I have never had any long gun training in my life. I own an AR-15, and last time I shot it one time my whole life. It was 6 years ago. That is until Saturday, where we recreated the events in Savoy, Texas. We recreated what happened in Butler. I was lying prone on a sloped roof at 130 yards at 6:30 at night. And I knew that he had a scope. I didn't know what kind, red dot or magnified. So I shot 8 rounds from both. You know what the result was? 15 out of 16 kill shots. And the one I missed would have hit the president's ear. That's a 94% success rate. And that shooter was a better shot than me. It is a miracle President Trump wasn't killed. Corey Comparatore's life is over because that damn shooter made it on the roof. And it wasn't the roof that was dangerous. It was the nut job on top of the roof. You know what else is dangerous? I believe your horrifying ineptitude and your lack of skilled leadership is a disgrace. Your obfuscating today is shameful.
All right.
And you should be fired immediately and go back to Garden Doritos. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Chair recognizes Ms. Lee from Pennsylvania.
Let me go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to thank the chair, the ranking member, for coming together and holding this hearing. But I have to say, I don't think any of our concerns have been addressed today. And what little we've learned has not inspired much confidence. I will just say that we obviously can't allow the violence we're seeing in this country become the norm or a commonplace, but that seems to be where we're heading. On this occasion, it was, very shockingly, a former president and current
We're going to go ahead a little bit.
Answers from you today is the conspiracy theory.
We're going to go ahead just a little bit because ain't a lot of people in here watching, so I guess they're not interested in this, but we're going to go to right here and go ahead and listen to that. And then I'll do a live later on, maybe, or tomorrow on a YouTube creator. Here we go.
Team has a senior supervisor, an advanced team, a protective intelligence team, a counter sniper element, and detail. Who was the agent in charge? How long has she been the agent in charge? And what is her Secret Service background?
So I'm not going to provide a name.
Why not? You're here to answer our
In this
questions.
forum, I'm not going to provide names of.
You stated in your testimony, you said, I am here today to answer your questions.
That is correct.
Answer the question.
I'm not going to provide names of our personnel. to
Why not?
Today.
The American people are demanding these answers from you today, Ms. Cheatle.
Yes.
I will do the best to provide you accurate information based on the facts that I have at this time.
You're not answering our questions. The advance element coordinates with other intel or law enforcement partners, identifies threats and weaknesses at the sites and movements. We'd like a copy of the advance report. Have you brought it here with you today?
We will comply with the request for the documentation that has been requested.
When will that be, Ms. Cheatle? Because you should have brought it today.
I am certain that our personnel are working on obtaining all of that documentation.
I don't believe you, and neither do the people watching this hearing. You're not doing well, as Mr. Moskowitz informed you.
Oh, well,
You've
this
been
woman
sitting
is
here
out.
for over 3 hours, and I have you know the entire country is demanding you resign and demanding that you be fired if you do not resign. Things are not going well for you. You need to answer the questions. Was there a protective intelligence team, and what technical resources were utilized for that event, specifically
know.
drone or helicopter
There's three now.
assets?
There were a number of technical assets that were deployed for that event, and there was a protective
thank you for being here,
intelligence team
Smoky
that was
Mountain, my man.
assigned to that event.
Why was Crooks able to fly a drone over the entire area the day of the rally and the day of his assassination attempt?
To my knowledge, he did not fly the drone over the entire area.
How did he fly a drone over the area, period? Any part of the area?
Again, I would have to go back and check the timeline of when that took place and when the event.
Why didn't you bring the timeline with you today to answer our questions?
I don't have all of the answers on the timelines based on the criminal investigation.
Were you not prepared today to answer our questions?
I am
That's how
prepared to
you
answer the
drill
questions
somebody.
based on the information and wanted to be able to provide.
Do you have a timeline do you have a timeline at all from any of the day?
I have
Yeah, they
a
both did. They both
timeline
did.
that does not
Okay.
have specifics.
That's shocking. That is absolutely unacceptable. That means you are a failure at your job. Let's talk about things that are prohibited in Trump rallies. And I've been to a lot of Trump rallies. Backpacks and bags, bicycles, firearms, any type of weapon or any other item determined to be a potential safety hazard, like a rangefinder would be one. At 5:10, Crooks is first observed by one of the snipers, AGR Sniper 1, at the building. 5:10, President Trump was shot in the face at 6:11 p.m. 5:28, AGR Sniper 1 takes a picture of a bicycle and 2 bags. Those belong to Crooks. 5:32, AGR Sniper 1 spots Crooks looking at his phone and using a rangefinder. 5:55, Butler ESU Command confirms receipt of photos and states they have been relayed on. 6:05 p.m., AGR Sniper 1 later communicates that Crooks is seen moving northeast in direction of Sheets and that Crooks has a backpack. 2 minutes before the shooting, while President Trump has been allowed to take the stage, people see Crooks laying on his stomach in a sniper position on the roof, and they're yelling he has a gun, and they are trying to alert law enforcement and Secret Service. Why was Crooks
Yeah, I seen
not
that.
shot by the
Seen that,
snipers?
okay.
Why was he allowed to be there?
As soon as the individual
He
was
loves ice cream
identified
day.
as a threat, they were.
No. What do you consider to be a threat? A man with a gun laying in a sniper position, a man that had a backpack, a man that had a bicycle, a man that had a rangefinder. At what point is he determined a threat?
An individual with a backpack is not a threat. An individual with a rangefinder is not a threat.
What about a man laying on a building that has direct line of sight of President Trump with a gun that people are screaming and pointing out? Is that a threat, Ms. Cheatle?
Once that individual was identified, they were neutralized.
No, they were neutralized. Crooks was neutralized after he shot President Trump in the face, Ms. Cheatle. Is he only a threat once he fires the weapon?
Ooh.
As soon as the counter sniper identified that individual, they were able to neutralize them.
How were people in the crowd? Okay, then let's just take it this way. People under your command did not consider him to be a threat, yet people in the crowd knew he had a gun and considered him to be a threat. That means that you are a complete failure as the director of the Secret Service, that people under your command don't perceive a man laying on a roof with direct line to the president with a gun. They don't perceive that to be a threat, yet the people in the crowd do. How is that possible?
I love this woman.
That's the last question, but please answer the question, Ms.
I love
Director.
this woman.
I'm not certain at this time how the information from the people in the crowd was relayed to any law enforcement personnel.
You're
No,
a damn
you
liar. It's all
knew
over
that
the
everyone
fucking
knew.
internet.
The people there knew that there was a danger. They knew there was a threat to President Trump, and it was allowed to happen. Was there a stand down order, Ms. Cheatle? Was there a conspiracy to kill President Trump?
Absolutely not.
Then how did this happen? And why are you still sitting here not turning in your letter of resignation?
Last question, but please answer, and then I'll recognize Ms. Presley. Please answer the question.
That is what we are investigating to determine.
We're waiting for your letter. We are waiting for your letter of resignation. And you really need to consider doing that before you leave today.
Chair now recognizes Ms. Presley from Massachusetts.
Thank you. No one, absolutely no one should fear for their life at a political rally,
Let's go on to the
in a classroom, in a faith house, or in their home.
To the family
let's go to this lady.
of the
your
Capitor
claim?
family and the people at the rally who are still recovering. On the other hand, the Secret Service has a leadership problem, and it falls on you. And although I appreciate your hollow words that the buck stops here, I was actually hoping for some answers. Director Cheatle, you must answer to the American people if you want to stay in charge.
Right, Smoky Mountain.
It's really, really simple. You want to keep your job, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. The best way to keep your job is to answer the questions, not play this shell game, not sing the Slim Shady song. Wasn't me. I mean, come on.
I think she got that backwards. Wasn't me, was Shaggy, not Slim Shady.
How long did you prepare for this hearing?
My opinion.
I've been preparing for this hearing over the weekend and into last week.
Okay. 5 days? 6 days?
As soon as I was notified
And how long was that?
about this hearing,
Okay. 4 days?
I began preparing.
4 days? 3 days?
I'm not sure the date that I got the letter asking me to be here.
What are you sure of? Are you sure the color of your hair? Are you sure the color of your suit? I'm just like, tell the American people, what are you sure of? You don't even know when you started preparing for the hearing? I mean, the biggest hearing of your life, and you have no clue? You can't remember when you started preparing for this hearing? Can you understand why those words seem hollow to the American people who are supposed to entrust their faith in you?
I assure you, the moment I received notification.
But you can't remember. You got a little Alzheimer's, dementia going? I mean, what, you can't remember.
I have several active investigations going on and an operational agency to run.
No, the real
Okay.
Shady didn't stand
All
up
right,
there.
but you want to take accountability, right? The buck stops with you, right?
I am taking accountability.
Super. Then let's start with trying to answer some questions. You keep referring to the FBI. When asked how many shell casings were on the roof, you referred to the FBI. When asked if there were explosive in the car, you referred to the FBI. When asked if Crooks was acting alone, you referred to the FBI. See a common theme here? I can go on and on. My question is, who at the FBI should I speak with? Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh, I
The
love
FBI
it.
is responsible for the criminal
Is there a name?
I'm not certain.
I'm not certain.
Who at
All
the
right, here we go.
FBI
I'm
is
not
running the
certain. I
investigation.
don't know. Let me ask a different question. Have you been in communication with the FBI?
Yes, I have.
With whom?
I speak with the director and the deputy director.
Okay. And what have they shared with you about this investigation? So I'll give you an opportunity to answer again. Did they share with you how many shell casings were on the roof?
They have shared with me the
Did
evidence
they
they've collected.
share with you how many shell casing were on the roof?
Yes.
Okay, how many were there?
I would refer to the FBI for their
How
investigation
many were there?
and their information that they need to share in their investigation.
So they've shared the information with you. You just don't want to share the information with us, correct?
We have concurrent investigations that are going on.
So they have shared this information with you. You know the answer to the question. You just refuse to answer the question from the member of Congress who has subpoenaed you to be here. Is there a different answer to that question?
I was always willing to come here and testify before this oversight hearing.
Beautiful. Then let's
Wasn't a-
do that.
that was
Let's
necessary.
for once have your actions match your words. So you've been in communication with the FBI. You know the answers and you refuse to tell us the answers. So I will ask you again. You know how many shell casings were on that roof. What is the answer to that question?
I think it's pertinent.
What
to talk,
is the answer to that question?
I think it's pertinent to talk to you about the information that the Secret Service has and that the Secret Service knows related
I'm
to the
asking
events
you
on
an
that day.
answer to the question. If you're supposed to be in charge, if the buck stops with you, how come you can't share the answers? What are you covering up? What are you hiding, my friend?
Oh,
I'm not covering anything else.
Then why can't you answer a simple question?
I would leave it to the
Exactly.
criminal investigation to answer questions related to that.
When you talk to the FBI and you ask them how many explosives, well, let me ask you, did you ask them how many explosives were on the roof? Did they answer that question? Or in the car, excuse me. Did they answer that question for you?
Yes.
Yes. So you know the answer to that question that my colleagues have asked you. But again, you refuse to give us the answers. You're playing this wasn't me. Well, I submit to you, if you can't, and it's not a can't, it's a won't. It's not a can't. It's not a I don't know. It's a I choose not to answer the question. Well, let me tell you, Ms. Cheatle, if you're going to lead, you need to lead. If you want to be in charge, then answer the question or step aside and have someone with the courage and the guts to answer to the American people the questions that they deserve answers to. And with that, I yield back.
Chair now recognizes Ms. Bobert from Colorado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to continue down that vein. You have been here sitting today, Director Cheatle, definitively able to dismiss erroneous information and speculation. However, you are refusing to answer questions that we now know that you have the information for. You are saying that you are wanting
is
to answer
Congress,
questions
though.
that the Secret
back it.
Service has information
She has
to.
to
Well,
give
ma'am,
that
you are the
information to
Secret
her,
Service.
to them.
You are the director. You have said that you are the best for the job. So I'm going to
It's my
ask you
opinion.
some questions now knowing that you do have answers from the FBI, whom you have been passing the buck to this entire day. And I'll start with something that, maybe the FBI doesn't know because it has to do with you personally. You said you spoke with President Trump after the assassination attempt. And I want to know, did you apologize to him directly for nearly having President Trump killed?
Yes, I did.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that you recognize that this was your failure. Now, since the assassination attempt you are under oath, reminding you. Have you communicated with anyone at the White House on an encrypted messaging app like Signal? Yes or no?
No, I have not.
Are you willing to surrender your personal phone for analysis?
If I am required to do so.
Okay. I will look into making that request because I would like to see your personal phone to see if you're communicating over encrypted messaging apps. Have you ever turned down enhanced security requests from Donald Trump's detail, his special agent in charge, Sean Curran? You ever turned that down?
No, I have not.
Have there been, has your team, has the Secret Service? Maybe not you personally.
I believe.
That's not me, guys. That's them. I don't know why it went out. Let's see if it comes back in.
Sir?
No, I have not.
Are you going to?
It is part of a criminal investigation that the
Are you going to-
FBI is interviewing those individuals.
Were agents?
I'll say this. I know when you go in court and you put your hand on that Bible, if you don't speak the truth, you can be arrested. And I don't care where it's at. I don't care who it is. And really, this ain't a court, but she is under oath to answer the questions. So I don't think that they can arrest her for not answering because it's not contempt of Congress. I've never heard nothing like that. Maybe, I don't know. But I mean, they are asking her questions, and Congress is over everybody, really. They're even over the president. If Congress don't agree with it, it don't get passed, it don't get done. So I say she should answer her questions, even though it is an investigation. She should answer her questions. And that, like I said, that's just my opinion.
Stationed on the water tower?
No.
Why?
That would not be something that would be included in a security plan.
Has the man who is reported to have been present wearing a gray suit who allegedly requested a photo of the dead body of the assassin on top of the AGR roof been identified?
I don't have that information.
Is that something that you've heard of?
No.
Were ATF agents present at the rally?
To attend or to work?
To work.
Not to my knowledge.
How long did the counter sniper have crooks in his sights before the shooter opened fire on President Trump?
I don't have that specific timeline.
Yes, you can also.
Will you be able
plead
to
the
tell
fifth.
us if he
Yeah.
communicated with other agents
But she didn't.
on what he was seeing through his sights?
He hasn't, though.
Once I have that information, absolutely.
Because we need to know why he waited for multiple rounds to be fired at President Trump before the threat was neutralized. We need to know if he was given an order to hold fire. Now, it's you've excused the roof of being unmanned because of the slope of the roof. Do you continue to assert the slope of the roof as a credible reason for leaving this position undefended?
First, I'll go back and correct that there was no order to hold fire. Our agents and officers have the ability to neutralize a threat at the time
So you
that
don't
they
know,
see it.
I'm sorry, you don't know the communication that was taking place or how long he had him in his sights because you haven't spoke to him, but you do know that there was no order to hold fire.
I can tell you the way that our personnel are trained. They are trained on the use of force scale that when they see a threat, they are authorized to neutralize that threat. They don't have to ask for permission.
You excuse the roof being unmanned because of the slope. Do you stand by that assertion?
The roof was not covered with an individual on it because there was overwatch provided.
Apparently not. No, there was no overwatch provided. This is very evident. President Trump was shot. A man died. There was no oversight provided. I find this rather maddening, especially now knowing that you do have answers from the FBI, who you have been passing the buck to this entire hearing, not answering a congressional hearing, members of Congress, while you are under oath and under a subpoena. I find it maddening that the director, that our country has come centimeters away from oblivion under your watch. You have answers. You are refusing to give those to us, directing us to the FBI. And this entire thing is a waste of time. You are responsible for the loss of a life and the shooting that took place on President Trump. You do need to resign. This is bipartisan. You need to be fired. You do not need to hold this position. You are not the best for this job. I am over my time, but I cannot tolerate your watch any longer. And I'm going to continue to call daily for you to be removed from your position, ma'am.
Chair recognizes Mr. Fry from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Cheatle, how long have you been with the Secret Service? 29 years, right?
That's correct.
And how long have you been director of the Secret Service?
Just under 2 years.
During your tenure as director under the Secret Service, I know we're here today to talk about the assassination attempt on President Trump, but how many other security lapses have occurred with protectees under your watch?
I don't have a specific number, but there have been some lapses.
There have been other lapses. Was one of them Jake Sullivan?
Yes, sir.
What happened there?
There was an individual who was able to access Mr. Sullivan's residence.
His residence. A protectee, somebody was able to break into his house. And what happened? Did anyone get fired because of that?
There were individuals who have been reassigned.
Reassigned. What other steps have taken? What I'm seeing, what other incidents have occurred other than Jake Sullivan? Was there an issue with the Secret Service agent and Vice President Harris?
I would not call that a security incident.
Well, it seems to me, I mean, you have security lapses with President Trump. You have security lapses with Jake Sullivan. You have issues with your personnel related to Vice President Kamala Harris. There seems to be a repeated theme here. Would you not agree with that?
I think that we are talking about separate categories of incidents.
Well, I would disagree with that. I mean, I think there's a repeated theme when you've got protectees and you're not upholding your core mission. Let me ask you something else. Does the Secret Service routinely record communications between and amongst detail?
Radio communications?
Any communication?
Email communications are captured, as well as text messages. And then depending on the detail, radio communications are recorded.
Does the Secret Service have recorded communications from the July 13th event?
We do not have radio communications from that day.
But you have text messages?
We do have emails and text messages.
Emails, okay, great. Does the head of the Trump detail or someone else embedded in this detail have command decision-making authority, or do they need to seek authorization from someone outside that detail?
The head of the detail has the decision-making authority for things that are necessary for that detail.
Is that standard for protection details?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Let me ask you something. During campaign events, is it common for the Secret Service to utilize other agencies?
Yes, it is.
What other agencies would be providing assistance to the Secret Service?
There are a number of other agencies that provide assistance to the Secret Service during campaigns. We utilize personnel from the Department of Homeland Security. We utilize personnel from the Department of Defense, and we utilize local law enforcement partners.
Are you on the same radios? Do you provide the radios to all the assets that are taking part in protection of an event?
We provide radios to the personnel from the Department of Homeland Security that are assisting us.
But not local law enforcement?
Local law enforcement is working on their own radios.
Are you on the same frequency?
We ensure that we have counterparts in the security room, and so the local law enforcement will place one of their personnel in the security room with our personnel so that we have interoperability communications. Let
me ask you something just about the timeline, because I think this is really interesting that we can't nail that down. I mean, I think there are lay people out there with more knowledge about the timeline than you seem to come before a subpoena in front of Congress. Was Mr. Crooks observed at the AGR building prior to the shooting?
He was observed on the grounds outside of our perimeter prior to the shooting.
At approximately what time was that? You don't have to give me the specific minute, but at approximately what time was that?
I believe it was about 45 minutes or so prior to.
Did the sniper team take a photo of Mr. Crooks?
The local team did, yes,
So it was a local team and not a Secret Service sniper.
that took the photo.
Okay. And did he relay that photo to Central Command?
Again, it's an active ongoing investigation, so I want to make sure that I'm factual with the route that that photo took and who that was disseminated to and when.
What time did when did Mr. Crooks' status go from a suspicion, a person that was under suspicion, to a threat? When did that happen?
When he was shot.
And maybe not even a specific time, Director Cheatle, maybe a certain event that happened that transformed him from a person of suspicion to a threat. When did that happen?
To the best of my knowledge, based on what I've been told thus far, it's approximately 5 minutes to where individuals relayed that there was an incident or an issue, being worked at the 3 o'clock of the president.
So that was, but it was before the shots were fired?
That is correct. But again, it was not phrased as a threat. It was just that something was being worked.
Yeah, but my question is, when did he become, when did he transform from suspicion to threat? Because they're treated very differently. People can be suspicious, but they're not a threat until a certain point in time. So when did that happen?
I believe that it was seconds before the gunfire started.
Seconds. My gosh, we actually have a few questions that we got answered today. Listen, I'm going to wrap up here, Mr. Chairman, but here's the frustration that people have. The buck stops with you. You've said that yourself. But the problem in Washington, D.C., it is the only town in America that you can be so bad at your job that you actually get a promotion or don't get fired. You have not been able to answer the number of agents.
Boy, that man spoke the truth right there. He spoke the truth. You can fuck up in D.C. and be promoted. You do your job right and you get fired. Oh man.
Whether or not requests were denied on additional security, whether or not law enforcement were able to engage before the shooting with the assassin, how he got on the roof, how the rifle got on the roof. You can't tell us how many shots he fired, whether the casings were recovered. You can't tell us anything about his cell phone. You can't tell us whether the rally was supposed to be postponed, given the intelligence that you were receiving. You can't tell us whether the car had a bomb. You can't even tell us his motive. And the American people are incredibly distrustful because it has taken 9 days to even get a scintilla of evidence out of you. Maybe if I was CNN or ABC or NBC, I would have gotten much more thorough and accurate information, but we have not received that in a subpoenaed hearing in front of this Congress. That is why the American people are frustrated, and I echo the bipartisan calls on this committee and all across this country that you should resign, or maybe when the president wakes up from his nap, he can fire you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair now recognizes Ms. Luna from Florida.
I love that.
Director Cheatle, can you please give me the names of the individuals who are in charge of your conduct for the rally?
I'm not going to release names.
Can you give me the
today.
titles? And how many individuals?
No.
Nothing?
We had a full advance team that was responsible
Who
for
are the,
advancing
how many
the
people
site.
are the final approval authority?
There are a number of people
Can you
that
give me a
are
number?
engaged in approving
Can you
the
give me
plan.
a number?
No, I do not have
Okay.
a firm number.
Can you just confirm whether or not, I understand this is an open investigation, but in order to dispel conspiracy theories, have you guys been able to subpoena the shooter's Discord records, or has the FBI, to your knowledge?
I believe that the FBI is working on those.
Okay. Is it factual to say that you have not ruled out that the shooter was working with other people or persons?
Again, the FBI is conducting the criminal investigation into
Can
the
you,
shooter.
at least in an effort to dispel conspiracy theories, can you confirm or deny that?
At this time, we do not have that there were any other people engaged.
So you believe he was acting alone?
I do.
Okay. Have you been made aware of multiple eyewitness reporting that there was a second shooter on a water tower?
And
I do not have any
got a thing of
information
that.
related to any second shooter.
Okay,
I
the
got a
reason I
video of
asked that
that.
is because according to testimony from multiple witnesses, they did report that. And again, to my understanding, there were over 40 sniper teams that were briefed by the Butler ESU. And I want to make sure that people are aware, if you're saying that there's not another shooter, that we are able to clear that information, because from this whole entire briefing, it doesn't seem like much information has been able to get out to the American people. So I'm trying to dispel rumors, as I'm sure you understand. Was it true that Secret Service was present at the Butler ESU briefing?
There was a briefing between the counter sniper teams
Was
that were working
Secret
on the
Service
ground.
present?
Yes, to my knowledge.
Okay, I want to read you a report from people that seem to be throwing you under the bus and stated that they were in attendance and that Secret Service was not in attendance at the security briefing, according to individuals with knowledge, to also include that the AGR building where the shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks was located was actually not a part of their security perimeter for that. So there was not Secret Service present. It seems as though that when you were asked earlier from Rep. Krishnamurthy about whether or not Secret Service was aware of a threat, you had said no, they were unaware of a threat.
Yeah,
And yet, according to communications, again, from law enforcement that were in some of these group chats, they actually had reported that Secret Service was made aware of a threat at around 5:59 p.m. as a part of the command, including Secret Service, aware of messages and requests about information about the suspect's location. Can you please tell me if you have knowledge of that at all?
Again, I think we're conflating the difference between the term threat and suspicious.
But you guys did have knowledge at 5:59 p.m. according to those group chats, did you not?
Of a suspicious individual.
Okay. Chairman, in my opinion, according to some of the testimony today, I feel that you have perjured yourself in some instances. And so I'm going to ask for a full review of the transcripts by staff. And if you find that to be the case, I do ask that you bring perjury charges against the director. I will say this, it is very frustrating, and I've talked to my colleagues and we've said it to your face, that you have been up here basically stonewalling our ability to get the answers to the American people. And what I will also say is that every single member of Congress does not feel safe with you in charge. You have heard that. And I think that we are all sitting ducks with you in directing the Secret Service currently. But more importantly, it sends a message to our adversaries that we are not protected. And we are one of the strongest countries in the world. So you have essentially made us a less safe country because of it. As a result of that, I'm asking you to formally step down. I share my same opinions as my Democrat colleagues. And I also think that your efforts to bring forward a full investigation and report in 60 days is unacceptable. And as a result of that, I'm going to do everything in my legislative toolkit to ensure that that happens sooner rather than later. And I'm sure that you know that we brought a vote on inherent contempt against Garland for essentially blocking a congressional investigation. And I don't think that you should be any different. So I will say that I am just completely disgusted by your performance today. And I understand that you're probably in a position where you're being told not to testify, which is why we had to subpoena you. I think that goes back to Garland. But again, that is part of the flushing that we need to get out of Washington, and I would be happy to assist in that process. Chairman, I yield the rest of my time.
Chair now recognizes Mr. Langworthy from New York.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate you bringing this hearing forward with subpoena. Director, yesterday I made the decision to get in my car and drive to Butler, Pennsylvania in preparation for this moment and asking you questions about the events of the assassination attempt on President Trump's life. I've done several presidential events prior in my career, and I wanted to see this site with my own two eyes because I don't believe the video footage tells the whole story or looking at things on a diagram. And I was absolutely appalled when I went to the site, when I saw the fact that I could have stood on the roof of that building, the AGR building, and hit that podium with a 9-iron, and I'm a lousy golfer. And the fact that that was not included in the perimeter is a complete dereliction of the duty of the U.S. Secret Service. I mean, there are very few rooftops that needed to be secured. And the fact that Secret Service, as they were putting a site plan in place, did not think it was necessary to man those rooftops, you have completely walked away from your duties. You had one job, and that's to protect the future president of the United States or to protect all of the other protectees. And President Trump is only here today by God's grace because he had just something in him that made him turn his head just slightly, or we would be in a national period of mourning right now. And you have done nothing here today. I've rewritten these questions like 4 times during your hearing, and you haven't answered a damn one of them. You haven't given any information. You have hidden behind this FBI investigation, and I think you should be ashamed of yourself because you have brought more shame to your agency than I think that the assassination attempt has at this point. This is literally the worst performance I have ever seen in front of a congressional hearing. You have offered no reason for this committee, this body, or the American people to trust you or the Secret Service today. And you should resign. You have said that you've put new security measures in place after the assassination attempt. Can you tell us what those are? Because the American people want to know that you're taking real corrective measures. But today you've pointed to an investigation. Investigation or not, you still have a job to do with a zero-fail mission. But so far, there's been absolutely no accountability, and you've admitted that here today. Not one person's been suspended. Not one person's been put on a desk. Meanwhile, we've got the most contentious of elections in our nation's history, and protectees are in danger because of incompetent leadership. Not the agents. The agents piled on President Trump to protect his life. Those are heroes. But the administrators running your agency, they're not right now.
No, they're not.
They're not doing their jobs.
No,
and you certainly aren't doing. The most appalling part of Saturday's events is the countless opportunities that Secret Service had to stop Crooks before he even got on the roof. At 3 o'clock, Crooks raised suspicion by entering the rally with a rangefinder. At 5:45, a cop with a Beaver County Emergency Services unit saw Crooks eyeballing the roof at the AGR International Building. And then at 5:55, Secret Service was warned of a suspicious person and identifies Crooks as a threat. This was all before shots were fired 15 minutes later. Director, yes or no, did local law enforcement alert the Secret Service about Crooks' presence at the rally?
Yes, they did.
The shooter came to attention of law enforcement almost an hour before President Trump went on stage. Law enforcement alerted the Secret Service of the shooter. Over and over, you've said there's a difference between a suspicious individual and a threatening individual. Can you explain what the shooter needed to exemplify to be called a threat?
So I'm not clear as to what identified him as suspicious to the individuals who originally clarified him that way. For the Secret Service, for an individual to be determined to be a threat, that individual would have to be seen with a weapon or capable of doing some sort of harm to our protectees.
I mean, Director, an individual walking into a rally with a rangefinder, scoping out an unprotected rooftop, and he reportedly flew a drone over hours before. It sounds like a lot more than suspicious, especially at a presidential rally. Your operational lapses, your resource management, and poor judgment nearly resulted in the assassination of President Trump. I mean, the dereliction of duty here is just appalling. The fact that you haven't visited Butler is just maddening to me. You're not taking this job seriously. Many people here have called for your resignation. I've introduced a resolution here into this body that hopefully will get a vote this week, calling on the president to fire you, ma'am. You have not done your job. You have put two black eyes on your agency, and you need to go. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes Mr. Burleson from Missouri.
Elmer.
Director Cheatle, I just want to kind of get an idea of what you can answer.
So we're going to go. I'm going to go show you the video now. It's blurry as fuck. It is blurry. Let me see if I can get it here, guys. Hold on.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look what happened.
All right, that one. Let me see this one.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look what happened.
Let me do the bigger version.
That chart,
All right, guys. Now, like I said, this is blurry as shit, but I will show it. I will show it. All right, before we go any further, we see just a little bit of a shadow right there. It's really nothing. You don't see no shadow down here or anything. All right, let's watch it. Watch the shadow move.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Okay, that shadow stepped out from behind there. Look how big that shadow got. Look how big the shadow got. See it there? See it there? Let's watch it again.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
See right there? Look at, yeah. I believe there is somebody up there. That's why. But they said they didn't want to use that because it was too far away. But we know that you can snipe somebody if you're good enough a mile away. Just my opinion, guys. And like I said, guys, these are all my opinions. They do not count for anything. It is just my opinions and my opinions only. Did this woman answer any questions today? She answered a few that she could. Is she allowed to answer? Probably not. Should she have answered? Yes, she should have. Because this is Congress. Congress is over you. Is over. Congress even runs the president, guys. We all know this. Everybody knows this. Like I said before, this woman should have been there. She should have been the one standing there protecting the president instead of the actor, like that gentleman said. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the, I can't remember his name. But he says even there was such and such, and actors. He actually says actors. Yeah, you can even shoot 2 miles away. Should this woman be fired? Most definitely. Did she fail? Most definitely. Did Secret Service fail? Most definitely. Was there an inside job? My opinion, yes. Reason being, they couldn't beat him in court. They can't beat him with money. They stuck a older gentleman up against him that was, and I'll say this, sick. I'm not talking about the C word. He was way sick before that because he couldn't ride a bicycle. He couldn't walk up a flight of steps. He needed to be put in the hospital, gotten better before he even tried to run. Now, I'm not telling anybody how to vote. You vote for who you want to, but this country needs to be under the leadership of somebody that's going to take care of the country, that does not want to pocket money, that does not want to do anything to destroy America. I don't care who you vote for. If you want to vote for Biden, if you want to vote for Harris, you go vote for who you want to. I know who I'm going to vote for. And I'm on the Trump train through and through. This is the first year I get to vote in so many years, and I'm going to vote for Trump. You vote for who you think is best qualified. Whether it be Harris, whether it be Trump, whether it be whoever that wants to get in the race. But we got to take care of America, guys. In my opinion, we got to stop sending money to other countries right now when our country can't even take care of its own veterans who fought and defended these people up in Washington that treat them like shit. These guys fought for that flag, fought for those people up in Washington, fought for America, and now they're going to come back. When they come back, they get treated like shit. That is wrong in my opinion. Y'all can hate me for that, but that is wrong. These gentlemen went over there and seen shit that we could never imagine. They took orders from their commanding officers to do shit that was unreal. So like I say, guys, vote for who you want to. Vote for the person that you think is best for the job. I know I'm voting for Trump. If I'm wrong and he does the country wrong, then it's on me. I'll have that on my conscience. If whoever you vote for does it, then it's on your conscience. No, they don't, Night Demon. These men are living out on the street. I back a veteran 1,000%. Because those veterans fought for something that I can get up here and do and speak my piece and have the right to do that. I couldn't join because I messed up when I was younger, but I will back a veteran up. I will love all my veterans because my dad was a veteran, my brother was a veteran. I joined the VFW because of my brother and dad and the auxiliary. I couldn't join the VFW because, like I said, I was never overseas, so I joined the auxiliary. When the VFW closed down here, I went to DAV auxiliary. I'm a part of the DAV auxiliary. I'll back a veteran in any single way. I don't care if you're not a veteran. If you're going to run for something in this country and I think that you're doing the right thing, I will back you. If I think you're not doing the right thing, I will not back you. Veterans built this country. Guys, thank you for being here today, though. Look, if you like the show, do me a favor on your way out. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Come back tomorrow. I might even do it tonight. I'm going to do a live on a creator that I had a lot of faith in that turned out to be, in my opinion, dirty. But y'all come back and check it out. But on your way out, please do me a favor. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, you can in the Cash App or the PayPal. It's not required, but it would be very, very much appreciated. What's up, Ghost X? There's my brother from another mother down under. Like I said, it's not required. Would be appreciated, though. The only requirement I ask you to do is come in here and you have a good time. Enjoy the show. Please put your opinions in here. I love opinions. That's what this country is based on, is opinions. We need to get the country back on track. I grew up in the 80s and I seen shit. I seen shit that if it was going on now, back in the 80s to me was the best time, guys. Everything was smooth. Everything went pretty decent. There were some times that shit went wrong, but still the best time. So, guys, like I said, I know who I'm voting for. You vote for who you want to. You vote for who you think is the best in your opinion. I know who I'm voting for, and I know he's the best in my opinion. But much love, respect, my outro and my intro. I do think there's a shooter on that tower. I do, Ghost brother. I mean, they didn't use it, and why not? Because you can shoot anybody from miles away. You're welcome, E-Rock. Thank you for being here, brother. But y'all be sure to look out for the next live coming up, because I called him out once. I'm going to call him out again and see if he comes up and gives his answer. Yes, Chicken Snake. Could have been a spotter. It could have been a spotter. It could have been. I do believe that. It could have been. But nobody ever knows, guys. Nobody ever knows. This is my opinion, and this is not to reflect on anybody in here. It's just my opinion. I think it was an inside job because, like I said, they couldn't beat him in the court. They couldn't beat him with money-wise. They couldn't beat him any other way. And I know it may have been just a split word that he said, but he said it at the wrong time. Someone said he needs to have a target on his back. And then a couple of days later, this happens. Come on, guys. And look, I'm not one of them to say, wake up and do this, but guys, wake up. Wake up. They couldn't beat him, so they had to try and silence him because they didn't want to lose that power. Yeah, well, I do believe that too, Ghost Devil. I do believe that too. But they've already threw it out. They've already threw it out. All right, guys, like I said, be on the lookout for the next show. Ghost, I sent you another message on Facebook. You don't look at Facebook much, do you, brother? They did. They threw. Well, I believe they knew. Well, they knew what they were going to do. I hope he does. I hope he does, Ghost. I really do. I hope he wins. That's my vote. But whoever gets in there needs to clean house, needs to straighten that place up. But Ghost better be over there for the next live. This is your opinion, Jeannie. I'd love for your opinions to come in. If you was for Biden or whoever's running now on that side, I'd want your opinion because that's what the Constitution stands for, and that's what this channel believes in. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the amendment. Probably tomorrow, Ghost Devil, I don't know. It might be tonight. I don't know. I know I got some stuff to do. But what I asked you over there on Facebook, if you don't care, could you do that and get that ready for me before I go live again? He should. I do like that song. Mama P.I. wanted me to play it the other night, and I didn't get to, so I played it yesterday. And I really, really like that song. Good deal. Thank you, Ghost Devil. And one more thing I gotta say, I've seen somewhere in messages and on Facebook, you know, in my opinion, the Secret Service failed on this. But if you would go get an MC to guard that president and pay them well enough, I guarantee you he wouldn't even got a bullet to his ear. I guarantee you he wouldn't have got a bullet to his ear. If you would have got an MC, he would not even have got a bullet touching his ear. Those guys don't play around. If you pay them to guard the president or guard Trump and tell them nothing's to happen to him, I guarantee you nothing would have happened to him. I did. But again, guys, vote for who you want to. Let's get this country back in a better position than it's in now, because this country is fucked right now. We're sending money to a country that we don't even need to stick our nose in their business. That's none of our business over there. When you got veterans living on the street, not eating for days, use that money over here. I guarantee you the money that you sent over there could have at least built maybe 6 or 7 housing units and put veterans in it. And I'm talking about maybe 100 veterans per building. That'd have been 400 veterans off the street. Look, take care of your own first. Take care of your own first. And then if there's anything left and we got it and we can use it, send it over to the other one. Send it over to the other country. Ghost Devil, I'll talk to you in a minute on Facebook. Guys, thank you for being here. Look, I really do appreciate y'all coming in here, watching this with me. Means a lot to me, guys. Y'all don't realize it, but it means a lot when y'all come in here and enjoy the show and spend time and give me your opinions on this stuff. It really does. It really, really does. So, guys, be on the lookout for the next show. Like I said, I'm calling out a creator, and I want him to come up on panel. I want him to explain. And, guys, I called him out once before, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and nothing happened. Well, I'm going to show a little bit of video that I got permission to use from another creator because I couldn't find it, but it's on theirs. So they said I could use their video. So I'm going to use that, and we're going to go over it. And while we're going over it, at the beginning, I'm going to put the StreamYard link in and tell him he can come on up. And if he don't answer, that's showing he's guilty, in my opinion, guys. And I really liked this creator when I first started. Seemed like a cool guy. Seemed like he knew what he was doing. Pulled the wool over on my eyes. Now, I'm 55 years old. I've seen a lot of shit. He was good. He was good. He pulled the wool over on my eyes, guys. I thought he was a straight up character. I guess he proved me wrong, didn't he? All right, guys. On your way out, please hit the like, share, and subscribe. Especially subscribe. If you enjoyed the show today, please subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the show, don't subscribe, but please come back. the next show may be better. Again, if you'd like to support the channel, you can in the Cash App. Yeah, they failed on the 13th. If you'd like to support the channel, you can in the Cash App or the PayPal. Now, you don't have to, but it would be very, very much appreciated. The only thing I asked you to do is come in here. No, don't you be sorry. Nobody be sorry for what they say in my chat. If it's offensive to some other people, then they don't need to be here, because I believe in freedom of speech. Say what you want. That is your opinion. I love opinions. I love everybody's opinions. The only thing that I ask, don't come in here and say, you know, well, they said this and they said that, and tell me I got to get rid of somebody in my chat because they don't like what they said. If you don't like what they said, there's a two-way door. You know, you can come in it and you can go right back out if you don't like what they say, because this channel, I believe in opinions. I want everybody's opinions. If you, whatever you want to say, please do not be sorry. Just don't ask me to get rid of nobody because of what they say. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in freedom of speech. I will not take it away because too many soldiers died for that. So nobody be sorry for what they say in here. But be looking for the next show. Much love and respect. I love each and every one of you. Remember, we don't say bye over here because bye is too permanent. And we want to see you back. We want to see you back over here. Jeannie, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. Let me do this right quick. Thank you so very much, Jeannie. Let me play this for you, Jeannie, because you sent me in a super chat. Here you go, Jeannie.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Thank you so very much, Jeannie. That is very much appreciated. All right, guys, don't forget. If y'all like music, please come over to White Trash Family 2229 Friday and Saturday, because Friday night is Southern Comfort. We're playing all Southern music. Saturday night is a sock hop. If y'all are as the same age as me or close to it, everybody knows what a sock hop is. We're going to have fun and everything Friday and Saturday night over on White Trash Family 2229 for the bonfire and the sock hop. Does anybody need the link to the White Trash Family? If you do, let me know and I'll go grab it right quick. As a matter of fact, I'll just go grab it just in case. Y'all will love, if you love music, you'll love White Trash Family. I'll say that. Let me grab that link and I'll get it. Please sub up over there and hit the notify on Southern Comfort on the 3 songs or the 3 things that I have listed on upcoming live streams. This is the link to White Trash Family. Please go sub it up and come on over and enjoy the music over there with us. Friday and Saturday this week, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. The live coming up on here, I will put the link in to where you can send music in, and I will play it on the channel. All right, guys, thank you for being here. I love each and every one of you. Ghost Devil, I'll holler at you on Facebook here in a minute. Much love and respect to everybody. And remember, we don't say bye over here because bye is too permanent. We want to see you back. So we will see you soon here on White Trash Family. Tattooed Rebel. I'm so very sorry for that. Much love and respect. We'll see you soon.
motherfucking life. Yo, reppin' the white trash family. Ain't no authority, ain't no fuckery, ain't nothing but real shit tuning and see. We pursuing loyalty and respect, that's all we demand. We don't take no shit from any entitled hand. Flying high, red, white and blue, we free bird in the sky. Rebel for motherfucking life. No rules, no bounds, we don't ask why. White trash pride, we won't fucking apologise. We got rebel in our hearts, we won't fucking compromise. No bullshit, the realest you'll ever meet. We don't back down or mislead. You leave you standing on your feet, because we don't look down on anyone unless you bite under our feet. We the people who stand tall in the face of defeat, never missing a beat. We ain't got much, but we got hearts and soul. Our word is our weapon, and that's all we're fucking told. Unless you fuck around and find out the hard way. Hey yo, what the fuck is trash day? Heritage is not hate. We don't need no fancy things. We just need no fake tapping ass government stealing from you and me, destroying literally everything. Our loyalty's our strength. Our respect is motherfucking unique. Every free bird jump out your fucking seat and sing this shit with me. You can call us outcasts, misfits and thugs, but we won't change for you. We'll stay true as fuck. We ride or die for our own. What the fuck is it to you? White trash family till the day we die. That's just the way it is, don't ask why. So raise your flags high, let the anthems play. We'll ride Freebird style all motherfucking day. Rebel for life, that's our fucking way. White trash family, we here to fucking